morning. We're interrupting programming to take you to a live press conference with Governor Tate Reeves on the Jackson's water crisis. Let's listen in.
Information to distribute, and I really do appreciate everyone in the media for being here, and our volunteer teams and the state agencies that these men and women here in this room represent, as well as our partnership with both the federal government and the city of Jackson as well. Today, I am announcing the launch of 7 state-run water distribution sites throughout the area impacted by the water crisis. The 7 distribution points will be here at the State Fairgrounds, the Metro Center Mall, Smith Wills Stadium, Thomas Cardozo Middle School, Northwest Jackson Middle School, Hines Community College, Jackson, and Davis Road Park. These sites will offer bottled water, bulk, non-potable water, and hand sanitizer. They will be open from 9 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. each day until further notice. As you know, these 7 sites will augment the sites that have already been set up by the city. We have been working in coordination with the city and their distribution plans, primarily at fire stations, over the last 48 hours. These sites will augment those sites, but they, as I appreciate it, will continue to be open as well. This has been an extraordinary logistical effort. The president signed the order less than 36 hours ago. We appreciate that. The team behind me since that time has secured the necessary resources and coordinated the necessary individuals in order to rally the establishment of these sites. These sites will be well stocked, they will be well staffed, and they will be well prepared to handle the continued emergency of the coming days. Our leaders in emergency management have a wealth of experience to draw from, and we're well prepared to effectively carry out this operation. I am incredibly thankful for the work, the coordination, and the cooperation of everyone that is here today, particularly, of course, MEMA, the Mississippi National Guard, the Mississippi Department of Health, Commissioner Gibson and his team, Commissioner Tyndall and his team at the Department of Public Safety, Russell and the Mississippi Forestry Commission, our partners in Hines County, as well as the mayor and our partners in the city of Jackson for making these distribution sites possible. There will be 600 National Guard service members have been activated and are working to help manage the distribution of water and other critical resources. I want to personally thank Major General Boyles for his diligent work in making this happen, and all of our National Guard service members for their commitment to serving our state and their commitment for the work that they do in disasters such as this. I'd also like to note, and I would appreciate all of our friends and others in the media to please get this information out. The Mississippi Emergency Management Agency's call center is open for residents affected by this crisis. Folks can get information on all the resources that are available by calling MEMA's Emergency Management Call Center at 1-833-591-6362. Again, that's 1-833-591-6362. The center will be open every day from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Additionally, we are continuing to work diligently at the O.B. Curtis Water Treatment Plant to get everyone in Jackson sustainable running water for the long term. As we have said, this is a challenge that many have been dealing with. We are extremely thankful to those operators and those city employees that are in the facility and have been in the facility. And we also welcome the help and support of both state entities as well as our federal partners in that process. To everyone in the city, I know that you're dealing with a profoundly unfair situation. It's frustrating, it's wrong, and it needs to be fixed. My family and I live in the city of Jackson as well. Our water comes from the city's pipelines as well. My core focus is on ensuring the folks around me today have everything they need to distribute water and run the system effectively so that all of us in Jackson can not only have running water but also clean water again. We have formed a strong coalition between city, state, and federal leaders to effectively diagnose what went wrong and to move swiftly to address those issues. We are working on this every day, and I should say, because the plant runs 24/7, we are working on this every night, and we will be transparent, fast-acting, and focused throughout this mission. Now, I would like to take the opportunity to turn this over to Mac for further updates and for guidance on the distribution sites. Mac?
Thank you, Governor. Thank everybody who's in attendance. We can do a lot of great things at MEMA and mobilize a lot of resources that come in. But the one thing that's paramount, if you look at who's up here right now, this is a partnership. This is everybody that has skin in this game. They're standing right here. So I want to thank the mayor for his team. He's been in constant contact with us at the plant and whatnot. The working situation there is awesome. Met with the Corps of Engineers, who actually showed up at 9 o'clock this morning with their pump assessment teams to look at all parts and pieces that we might need to be able to access, because the Corps of Engineers can move water. We know they can. So bringing them in is a powerful, powerful part of our plan. EPA's on site. We had a conference early this morning at 8 o'clock, nailing down what the work was to do today and then what we're going to do in the following days. So we are going to improve this system over the next coming days. But we're talking about the distribution of water right now. We understand we've got 7 mega sites that are coming in. We really want to get a great big push into to facilitating the distribution of water for non-potable and for potable throughout the city. And we know we're going to leapfrog this. We're going to move on to the next pocket where we might have somebody. So our evaluations are still ongoing to improve the distribution and even put it in smaller sites in other parts of the city. So we're working with the mayor staff and with the Hinds County Emergency Management to identify further pockets that we might have that we need to do. But right now, come on into the big sites, and we're going to put some water in your vehicle and get you moving so you can do the things that you need to do. The governor already talked about those sites. I'm not going to do that, and he actually gave out my number, the 1-888-591-6362 is MEMA. That is our regular number you can call in on, and we'll get you to the office that you need. Had a great conversation with the Corps of Engineers. As we're looking at what we're doing today, I've got a plan for tomorrow and the days after. So the conversation with Corps of Engineers was possible other projects that we go on, and we do some resilience, we do some mitigation within the systems that we currently already have. And that goes to include the commissioner and I talked about it this morning about his ability to produce water on this site. How do we plug that in for a continuity of government situation? So we're doing now, I'm doing 2 days from now, and I'm doing the future as well. And with these partners up here, we're going to come up with a long-term solution that's actually going to raise my capital city, and every citizen here is going to have an opportunity, and they'll know that we're working hard to do what we need to do. I'll stand by for any questions afterwards, but Governor, that's all I have at this time.
Thank you, Mac. I appreciate that. At this time, I would like to call on General Boyles to offer remarks on the very quick action that we have taken to call up 600 National Guardsmen to make sure that this distribution works. You've heard me talk over the last 3 days and compare our efforts often with the way in which we responded to the pandemic. Specifically in this instance, it's the way in which our National Guard stepped up and helped provide vaccine distribution in the early days, long before any other state actually chose to do that. And I think there was universal agreement across this state and across this nation that those men and women in uniform stepped up and did that in such a way that could make all of us as Mississippians proud. And I have no doubt that the many of the same individuals, in fact, but certainly the same leadership team will ensure that this distribution goes smoothly as well. So, General Bowles?
So, Governor, we appreciate your leadership in bringing us all together. Thank you for doing that. And we value our partnership with our interagency partners and all the other governments. And Mayor, anything we can do to support you, we want to be successful. And thank you for sharing those spots with us so we can get this water distributed as quickly as we can. I am bringing soldiers and airmen in from all over the state to help with this. We've got, as the governor said, 600 men and women who will be on the pod sites helping distribute water. We also have tankers at those sites, so we've got non-potable water that's available for containers that people may want to bring in. I am moving assets all over Jackson to make sure that we will always have water at the site when the customers show up. We learned, Governor, during the COVID response, sort of how to manage traffic at these sites. So today we're going through those exercises, making sure that traffic will flow smoothly and efficiently so we can get people in and get them out with what they need to take back home. Governor, I'll just pause there and wait for any questions if anybody has any. But thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to serve Mississippi.
Thank you, General Bowles. I sincerely appreciate your efforts, and I have the utmost confidence that any kinks that may occur over the next few hours will get worked out very, very quickly, because I have seen them do it time and time again. I received a call, I think before daylight a couple of days ago, from Commissioner Andy Gibson offering here the fairgrounds, which clearly is a prime location for us to coordinate not only this particular briefing, but also coordinate the efforts. Obviously, there aren't a lot of places in the city or in the state or in this country where you can easily go from 0 personnel to close to 700 when you include the National Guard, the Department of Public Safety, City of Jackson Resources, the Forestry Commission, etc. So Commissioner Gibson offered, and it made perfect sense right here in the heart of the capital city to utilize this facility. And I want to turn it over to Commissioner Gibson right now.
Thank you. And on behalf of myself and our fairgrounds staff here at the Department of Agriculture Fairgrounds Division, we want to welcome you to the new Mississippi Trademark. Behind me is a mural that was prepared. It's actually a carving of wood that was harvested from all over Mississippi. But what you see in the center is a piece of magnolia wood, symbolizing that we are one Mississippi. And when we gather here today at the fairgrounds, we remember that this facility has been used as emergency response over decades, for decades, literally, here in the state of Mississippi, responding to events on the Gulf Coast like Hurricane Katrina, responding to tornado events in North Mississippi. And now we have the privilege to work with the mayor and the citizens of Jackson to help the people right here in the city of Jackson, Mississippi, the people, the families of this city. The fairgrounds is pleased to serve as a state staging area for this operation. I'm grateful to Governor Reeves and his leadership and this team that is here for what the work they are doing to assemble the necessary resources for this response. I want to mention a few things that the fairgrounds is doing. One of those is, of course, serving as a logistical staging area. The other is being one of the 7 pods for water distribution. I see people already going through the line out here to access that on High Street. And then on the south side of the Coliseum, we are serving as a filling station for the tankers, the National Guard tankers that have been rolling day and night. And since Monday, actually, we have pumped 145,000 gallons of fresh water into tankers that have supplied the state nerve center, IT servers in the Department of Finance and Administration, also healthcare facilities like the Jackson Medical Mall and the State Health Lab. And so we are continuing those operations through our well system that was completed earlier this year. We have the capacity to pump at least 400 gallons per minute out of our well system. And it is pumping right now, and it pumped all night last night. Trucks are rolling in and out 24/7 for these operations, and we look forward to refilling these National Guard tankers in that role. We are honored to be a part of this because in Mississippi, when crisis strikes, we realize that really we are one Mississippi. We are bound together by our common faith, our common belief to love our neighbor, as ourselves to do what we can to help our fellow Mississippians like we would want someone to do to help us. So it is our honor to serve this for the city of Jackson right here in this area. I would mention two things. The fairgrounds is up and operating all the time. We are continually operating. We have had only 2 events that we've had to have rescheduled due to this staging area. One is the Paw Patrol event that was scheduled for this weekend. It's been rescheduled for late November. And then the Mississippi Horse Open Show that was to be in the Equine Center is also being rescheduled to a later date. All other events are active and ongoing. And we're actually serving food in our cafe at the Farmers Market for those who are living in Jackson, need something to eat. A restaurant is operational, serving good country cooking, all kind of Mississippi agriculture. So we thank you for coming. Thank you for your interest, and we look forward to being part of the solution. And Governor, we'll help each and every way that we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Gibson. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner of the Department of Public Safety, Sean Tyndall. The Department of Public Safety and the Mississippi Highway Patrol and the Capitol Police are coordinating and working with Jackson Police Department to ensure that we provide adequate safety and security at each of these 7 locations, and we will certainly do that. It is never a good time to commit a crime anywhere, but this is a really, really bad time to commit a crime in the city of Jackson, I can assure you, as we have significant additional resources and assets throughout. And I'm going to let Commissioner Tyndall talk about that. Sean?
Thank you, Governor. Governor, thank you for your leadership, as well as other agency heads and state leaders. This is obviously a big undertaking, but I can tell you over this governor's tenure in office as governor, we've certainly had our share of experiences responding to disasters. For Department of Public Safety standpoint, as well as MHP and the Capitol Police, we're here to ensure that those that are trying to get water can do so in a safe manner without fear of any sort of crime and any sort of issues or emergencies at the distribution sites. We will have our Special Operations Group of the Mississippi Highway Patrol, uniformed officers located at each distribution site to ensure the smooth operation and safety of all those that arrive. We also have the Capitol Police that have added additional patrols in the area. As of today, we have 16 new Capitol Police officers that will be out assisting in the Capital Improvement District and assisting at these sites. We've been working hand in hand with the Jackson Police Department and the Mayor's office, with local law enforcement, trying to make sure that these efforts are done on a uniform front in case there is an emergency, that all those involved can respond. So the Department of Public Safety, as always, is here to work with the citizens of the city of Jackson and the state of Mississippi to ensure the safety of all the citizens. As the governor mentioned, it's never a good time to commit a crime. Certainly don't want anybody doing anything like that at this time. It will be met with swift action and response and will not be tolerated. So thank you again to all the partners for your work. Thank you, Governor, for your leadership. Thank you, Mayor, for your leadership.
We have often talked about the model that has been set up by the federal government in disasters such as this. It is something that FEMA talks about regularly, which is these disasters are state managed, federally supported, and locally executed. The advantage to the engagement by the state is that we're able to bring in assets and resources that maybe many people in the public don't even know about. And when we started the process of setting up this distribution facility, it became very clear that the involvement of a state agency that most in the public wouldn't think about for that process would be the Forestry Commission. And so I've asked our state forester, Russell Bozeman, to come forward and talk a little bit about the role that his team will be performing here on the fairgrounds. Russell.
Hello, everyone. You are right, Governor. We stay out in the woods as much as possible. You know, when it comes to water quality, we do that every day. Forests are great filters for water quality. Strangely enough, though, it's our responsibility for wildfire that actually brings us here today. So the vast majority of my team is trained in incident command systems. We assist our fellow states across the nation on large, complex wildfires. And therefore, to make sure we're always able to assist these partners up here and work with our responsibilities we have with MEMA, we do have an all-hazards incident management team, and that's who's here today. So our incident management team, at MEMA's request, is up here. In fact, for any event that we have that requires us to engage with MEMA, our primary responsibility is the distribution of water, ice, and supplies. So we fit right in today, and it is, as always, a pleasure to participate with this group. This leadership that we're dealing with has always been a very strong supporter of what we do, and we're glad to reciprocate when possible. Definitely glad to be here, Mayor, assisting y'all, and we are always here to help. We actually do a lot with your urban forestry department. So, but you know, right now our primary responsibility for the Mississippi Forestry Commission is to get these trucks in. I think there's roughly about 106 ordered the last count that I had. I think we've gotten in around 30. Get them in, get them checked out, and then get them redistributed to our points of distribution. So get it back out to the pods so the public can come in and get access to this water. We are doing our best to herd these cats, and I'll be glad to hand it back over to you.
Thank you, Russell. Appreciate your team for being here. We are, as you can tell, a unified effort. Before I call up the next speaker to the podium, I thought I would tell a brief story. I personally don't get on social media because I don't have time for it, but unfortunately, a lot of my friends and supporters do get on social media, and those who have my phone number love to text me and say, can you believe they're saying this, or can you believe they're saying that? I'll give you a little example. Yesterday at our briefing, I mentioned that I had a call with our congressional delegation and that the vast majority of them participated on that call. Well, last night it became very clear and evident that there was some group or some segment of the population in this great country that automatically assumed that because I said the vast majority, that Congressman Thompson was the one that wasn't invited to that particular call. The fact of the matter, however, is that Congressman Thompson was on that call, and one of our other members of Congress is not in the United States of America right now and could not participate. So I tell that story simply to say that those who want to drive division and those who want to try to focus this effort, let me just tell you something. There'll be plenty of time for that in the future, but what we're focused on right now is the immediate recovery from this emergency. That immediate recovery includes the work that is being done at O.B. Curtis, where we had our press briefing 2 days ago. At O.B. Curtis, we have a unified command center. The one group that is not here with us today is the State Department of Health. As you know, Jim Craig and his team have been with us at every press briefing that we've had. The reason they're not here today is because their time, in my opinion, is better served at O.B. Curtis than it would be down here. And I personally encourage them to stay at O.B. Curtis because at our Incident Command Center, MAC has a team member there with the Emergency Management Agency. The City of Jackson has their team there at the Incident Command Center, and the State Department of Health has their team at the Incident Command Center. But today's briefing is not only about that effort that is ongoing at the O.B. Curtis facility and working in conjunction with both fuel and other areas. In addition to that, today is about the distribution of both potable and non-potable water, and that is something that I think we can hopefully all admit that everybody in Mississippi has a vested interest in ensuring that the people in the city of Jackson have access to both of those, and we're going to do everything in our power, everything in our might to make sure that that is available. So at this time, I'd ask Mayor Lumumba to come forward and make some remarks.
Good afternoon, and thank you for being present for this very critical briefing. First and foremost, I'd start where the governor left off. I believe that my representation here is a symbol of the unity that is taking place, a symbol of the coalition that is working arm in arm to ensure that we keep the most primary focus on the residents of Jackson. As the governor said, there may become a time where certain other questions come forward, but right now what we are focused on is this unified effort and resolving this challenge for the residents of Jackson. I joke with the governor that our good friend Marshall Ramsey put together a cartoon that showed that we were speed dating. I just want the governor to be aware that he is actually buying the dinner. But, you know, more importantly, I feel the same way today that I felt at the time that Mr. McCraney, along with Jim Craig, joined me at the office to share what the unified effort would be. I want to assure you that at O.B. Curtis, the hardworking men and women that are at that facility have reported that things are going well, that it is seamless. No one is stepping on another person's toes. And in fact, I do want to report the most recent update that I shared from those at the Incident Command Center today, and that is that we have made some positive gains within the system. They are encouraged. There has been the installation of an additional pump that helps with the production of water coming in. They have identified the balance of what crew is there at certain hours, and all of that is going to serve towards the improvement in the system. Right now, I want to speak to our residents. We understand your frustration. We understand your impatience with this challenge, and all of that is warranted. I just want to assure you that you have a unified front at this hour, at this time, endeavoring to fix it and not only sustain, not only work to ensure water reliability in the near future, but for the very distant future as well. I want to thank not only this team, but the team that you do not see in front of you, those at O.B. Curtis, not only those within the Incident Command, but the hardworking men and women of the Water Department. I want to thank our Constituent Service Division. I want to thank our firefighters who have been helping to provide water, our Jackson Police Department, any and every person that has had a hand in this effort. I want to thank them. We have volunteer groups. I've received calls from all over the nation of different cities and corporations that want to support the effort here in Jackson, Mississippi, and that warms my heart. Those that live in the Jackson community who have stepped up to support their neighbors, I want to thank them as well. And I want to thank both the president who gave me, you know, endeavored to call me yesterday, along with the vice president to ensure that from every level we have that support. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. With that, I will turn it over to questions. We'll start with Ross. Yeah, so what I would tell you, Ross, is that I didn't begin with the update on O.B. Curtis for a number of reasons. The primary reason is because it's only, we started at 11:30 this morning. We gave an update at 4:30 yesterday. I would like to get through the full day to kind of see where we are before we make remarks as to how today went. As you'll recall, Tuesday was a day that was much better than we anticipated. Yesterday was a day that started off much worse than we had hoped. And this whole process is going to be like that. There's going to be ups and downs throughout the process. And the other reason that we started with today talking about the distribution side, because when it comes to life safety of individuals, particularly those that don't have clean drinking water, the single most important thing that we can do is to make sure that there is the opportunity for clean drinking water. We do have reason for optimism, as the mayor mentioned, that we have had a good overnight as well as a good morning. My understanding that the PSI levels that had gotten down to around 42 yesterday were back up near 80 mid-morning today. The pump that was installed yesterday, and kudos to those men and women that were engaged and involved. Certainly is playing a role in that. But again, there are a lot of moving parts inside that particular facility. The single most important thing, in my opinion, and this isn't technical or anything else, but when the team talked with the mayor on Monday, I'll just tell you what my greatest fear was, and the greatest risk at that time in my mind was for there not to be 100% cooperation, not at our level, but at 100% cooperation at the on the ground at O.B. Curtis. And while I still believe that I was correct in saying that that was the greatest risk, that has not been a problem at all. There has been nothing but 100% cooperation and coordination with the employees that work there, the ones who actually have the institutional knowledge. And it's why I have tried at every press briefing that I have given to commend those individuals that work at O.B. Curtis, because the reality is whatever progress has been made and whatever progress will be made in the days and hours and minutes before us, a big reason for that progress is because of the work of the individuals that are there and the individuals that have been working there for a long time. Clearly, the expertise that has been brought in from the State Department of Health and others has allowed for additional people to look and to make an analysis and figure out some of the additional things that can be made. As we had said, and by the way, what I've learned in this process is we're 100% sure of something on one day, and then we find out the next day it may not be 100% accurate, although we were 100% sure of it the day before. It's just the nature of the kind of plant that we are dealing with at O.B. Curtis. But just to kind of put things in perspective, we believe that the additional pump that was installed yesterday would lead to the ability to push out approximately 4 million gallons of water. That whole facility is, if working perfectly, would be able to push out about 50 million gallons a day. It has probably, over the last several weeks, operated less than 50 million gallons a day, to say the least. But again, that 4 million gallons a day certainly is significant and is important. But again, just so everyone knows, we have more work to do. We mentioned yesterday at the 4:30 briefing that because of the less than ideal start to yesterday, that the water pressures throughout the city were probably in the late afternoon and into the early evening were going to be less than ideal. As I appreciated as we speak to you today here at noon, those pressures are probably improving. The gauges inside the tanks are certainly improving because we are now, the plant is back operating at a much higher level than it has been. So, sure. Do not drink the water. Do not use the water to brush your teeth. If you're going to drink the water, please boil it. There has been a boil water notice on in the city for quite some time. That has not changed. The State Department of Health makes those decisions, not me. But I have not been told by anyone that it is okay to drink the water as it is coming out of the pumps. I do think that again, you've heard me talk about quantity and quality of water. I do believe that over time, as we get the quantity piece working, the biggest risk that I was concerned about and earlier in the week is if we can't produce adequate quantity of water, then the ability to flush toilets, the ability to offer water to fight fires, et cetera, becomes a major issue. But it's also fair to say that you need adequate quantity that is clean water going through the pumps to ensure that you have the proper quality of water as well. Again, the team at O.B. Curtis, particularly the operators at O.B. Curtis, play a significant role in determining what chemicals are used certainly on one of the different trains there in the facility, and they're doing that now. And so I think as we get the quantity up, which we've seen great progress in the last 18 hours or so, I think we'll begin to get to a point potentially where we can start talking about the quality as well. But right now, the boil water notice is still in effect. We still encourage you to boil water before you drink it. But we also have, and you can actually see out here now, the guardsmen moving the tents so as to better work on logistics. It's one of the things that we found throughout the vaccine process is that we're very blessed to have very nimble leadership at the Guard, and we're going to make adjustments. But if you need clean water, if you need bottled water, these 7 locations certainly are the easiest, fastest way for you to do so. The mayor mentioned earlier the Jackson Fire Department, and I want to commend them. They obviously are firefighters first, and that's what they were trained to do. But over the last several weeks, and maybe as long as a month, they have also been water distribution sites. That, in large part, was required, as I appreciate it, by the EPA in their order. But it's certainly, those sites will still be open. We will still be supplying those sites with water. And so if you are in your local community and you've been getting clean drinking water from your local fire department, those will be open as well. We felt like we needed to augment that and supplement that with these mass distribution facilities for a lot of reasons. But the biggest reason is if you have 100 cars or 500 cars in a community in and around the fire station and there's a fire, well, then you have potential logistical challenges there. And so we want to push the masses, if at all possible, to these 7 larger distribution facilities. But also, we have volunteers. We've worked with Meals on Wheels as well. We've worked with other organizations because we also know that there are people in the city, just like there are people in every community, that don't have the ability to get out. They're shut-ins or they're sick or they don't have those abilities. And so we want to help them as well. And we certainly have a plan in place to do that. Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm going to let Mac and General Bowles talk about that. I definitely think that there are challenges that are before us. Let's just recognize the numbers of people that we're talking about. We are in a city of approximately 151,000 people. We have an additional 30,000 or so that come into work every day. So we've tried to prepare and plan for 180,000 individuals. We have adequate bottled water supply to deal with that. And we have 18-wheeler trucks coming in every single day to back up the supply that we have already received. Again, I had a press conference at 7 p.m. on Monday night making this announcement. And by the way, I don't remember specifically if it was right before or right after the press conference, but the city of Jackson had issued their emergency order. The State Department of Health went first thing Tuesday morning. The state of Mississippi went an hour or so after that, and then the president approved the order before the end of the day. For those of you who want to question whether or not there is coordination or not in this effort, that doesn't happen without a lot of work and a lot of coordination together, and that's exactly what transpired from Monday evening through Tuesday night. But I'll let Mac talk about sort of the specifics on what to expect. There are clearly vehicles that are lining up, and I'll let him address that.
Thank you, Governor. Every plan that we make is the best plan we can make in a vacuum and getting ready. So the timeline we have for today might not be the same timeline tomorrow. I can lean on the Adjutant General and say that we will adjust it. If somebody's in line, the store's not closing. But I do have to have a time where I can reset commodities and get ready for the next day safely, where citizens aren't around that equipment. So that is why we do have a start time and a cutoff time. But there's no doubt that we've got the product here. The forestry talked about it. He's receiving trucks every minute, and actually it's 108 trucks I've ordered, not 106. So you're and just to let you know, so everybody at the same time, I just ordered 3 more days of water, so I got another 108 that's going to be on the way over the next few days. We're going to be here. We're not leaving anybody stranded. These are people. These are the citizens of the state of Mississippi. So this team, I kind of spoke for the general because he told me whatever I needed earlier that he would do and he would ensure it. And I've been that citizen soldier out there before, and this is the best job you can ever have. When I responded to Katrina as a citizen soldier, that's what you sign up to do. And we're going to be there. And we're going to do the best we can. But we do need some time to reload the shelves. Just like any other facility, we got to reload our shelves of product, do that safe and ready for the next day. So thanks for the question.
So just mechanically to address that, we've decentralized our leadership so that those decisions can be made at that local site to be as efficient as they can be. The leadership at my level will be making rounds today and tomorrow to make sure that those efficiencies are there. And if we need to make any adjustments from my level, we will build that in. A lot of these folks that you'll see out here at these sites already have experience from having worked the COVID response. And so they know what traffic movement needs to look like. And I expect this will go a little bit quicker because we're not putting shots in arms and we're not taking individual data. So if you were pleased with the COVID response, you should be very pleased with the way we respond to this. Thank you.
Hold on. Yes, sir. You know, I don't want to answer that question right now. We'll have a briefing sooner rather than later, and we'll have Jim Craig and his engineers that can give more specifics on what the highest priority is. I do know that he mentioned yesterday that there have been some challenges with the sensors that are measuring the pH balance of the water coming into the facility. And when you don't have a really accurate read on what that looks like, as I appreciate it, it makes it really difficult for that operator inside the facility to make sure that the chemicals are right so as to get the pH balance right to get clean water through the system. Now, to be fair, those operators that have been there for a while, they've seen it enough, and they've seen every pH level, and they know exactly what they need to add to get, regardless of where it starts, to get it to where it needs to be. And we have a couple of very talented ones out in the O.B. Curtis facility that are doing that. But I think it's fair to say that we think there is a potential for a relatively quick fix on that to get those sensors accurate, because it'll be a heck of a lot easier, we believe, to get clean water out through the system. If we know exactly what the pH level is coming in, we're not 100% sure that quick fix will work, but that is amongst the priorities. And we're also, another priority is making sure that the safety measures are in place to protect all of the existing employees, as well as all of the state assets and resources that are already on site, as well as any of the federal resources that are en route, or the potential EMAC resources that Mac and his team have been able to get. That's one of the things that's really important about a federal declaration, is when you have a federal declaration, there's an EMAC system. And if you think about it in terms of a hurricane hitting Louisiana, this federal EMAC system is such that if the governor of Louisiana, if a hurricane hits Louisiana, the governor of Louisiana needs a couple of helicopters, for instance, it is very usual for them to EMAC that for our guys who need the flight time, for General Boyles to call me and say, hey, the governor of Louisiana needs 3 pilots and 3 helicopters. What would you like to do? And we immediately say, send them. Well, the same thing is transpiring now on some of the operators that maybe we need to have there, and some of the mechanics and whatnot. And so we're EMACing those and clearly identifying the priorities of what those resources may need to be is a priority as well. Yes, sir. Well, I don't think there's any doubt that if you go across the United States of America, there have been water systems that have run into challenges. I have no visibility, and I have not been briefed on any other system in the state of Mississippi at this time that has the kind of risk that we're looking at here at O.B. Curtis. There is a constant assessment. The State Department of Health and the EPA are constantly looking at water systems, and when there are challenges within those systems, they issue orders to that effect. So is there an ongoing assessment? The answer is yes, but that's been true for many, many, many years. Yes, sir. Say that again.
Okay. I have had the opportunity to read the outline. There are some things that we want to adjust and include, and so we're not prepared to share anything at this moment yet. It is still ahead of kind of the projected period of time that we said we were aiming for, and so we'll continue to look at that, and that kind of speaks to the earlier question of what is the highest priority. What we find at O.B. Curtis is that there are so many challenges and significant challenges. It is difficult to put one above the other when they're that significant and that capable of debilitating the plant.
Yes, sir. Well, what I would tell you is, and I know that you in the press really want to play the blame game, and you really want to focus on pitting different people against one another, and that's certainly your priority. That's fine. What we are focused on is the immediate health and welfare of Jackson residents. It's the reason that we have 600 National Guardsmen that have been activated to hand out bottled water. It's the reason that we have tankers running throughout the city to have so that we can say that we have both potable and non-potable water available to the residents of the city of Jackson. It's the reason we have surged resources to the O.B. Curtis facility, and it's the reason that we have worked with our congressional delegation as well as the administration to get not only a citywide emergency but a state emergency and a federal emergency. And so again, there'll be plenty of time in the future to play the blame game, and y'all can do all of that you want to do. You can do it in real time if you want to, but I ain't got time for it. I am focused on making sure that the health and welfare of the citizens of Jackson, Mississippi is taken care of, and the way in which you do that is through exactly what you're seeing today and by working diligently to get the O.B. Curtis facility working. In addition to that, as you know, we have 2 treatment plants in the city of Jackson. There's also fuel. Fuel has historically been focused on doing about 20 million gallons of water a day. Working with the city team, that has actually been surged, and the health department has approved it to do up to 30 million gallons a day. Yesterday, as I appreciate it, we did close to 23 million gallons. Again, we've got to get the quantity of water up. We've got to get the quantity of clean water running through the system to be improved. And at that point, we have a pretty good chance of getting the quality of the water up as well. So. Well, clearly, we have a system in place wherein regularly the State Department of Health measures the quality of the water, and if in fact there is not safe drinking water coming through the pipes, then we put a boil water. The state puts a boil water notice on the water in this city and every other community throughout the state, and the appropriate regulatory agencies do the same with those in other states, I am sure. We find ourselves in this position because of a lot of different reasons, a myriad of things that occurred over a long period of time, but also the immediate effects of the 14 inches of rain that occurred certainly played a role in where we find ourselves because the pH of the water that was coming from the reservoir into the O.B. Curtis facility was such that, again, we were already under a boil water notice, but that certainly exacerbated the timing and the challenges that we had. Another reason is that there were a couple of major pumps that went out within the last 30 days, and that necessitated the potential for us renting this pump that we were able to secure on Tuesday and put in service yesterday, again within 48 hours. But we're hopeful that the two main pumps that actually went out in the last 30 days, at least one of them has a real potential to be back online early part of next week. Again, and we think if in fact we're successful at getting that done, and if there are not other challenges that we find, and by the way, there are going to be other challenges that we find, but if there aren't, then we have a chance to push towards not only a higher quantity of water daily, but also a quality of water as well. So thank you. Yes, sir. Mac, you want to talk about
the mayor and I early on, the 311 number for information that we have there, that's all tied in with MEMA, as well as if they can't supply it, then we will supply it. But that number is the greatest one. You call that crisis number line that we put out to you earlier, the 1-833 number, and you're going to get a live person. It does not go to a call bank. You're going to get a live person at that number. We're going to coordinate with the best effort, volunteers on standby, and those organizations that actually do this. I'm looking at one of the partners, American Red Cross, has been here since day one at every meeting we've been at, because they are one of our greatest partners in handling shelters and other things. And so we lean on each other at this time. So that number's key. You call it. We're going to be all the way through. I'm laboring on Labor Day. We're coming to work that day. So I've already told all the staff, whether they appreciated that or not, that we are back at the helm, and we're going to be here until we're not needed at that closed event. So absolutely, we got them covered. Mayor, if you have anything.
So to address a couple of things. One, I think the easy answer to the earlier question is that this is a set of accumulated challenges that has taken place over the better part of 3 decades, which precedes both myself and the governor. And so to that extent, my interest is unchanged in that the city of Jackson needs resources, we need money. And so we'll continue for that push. But right now, what we're focused on is the operational unity that we have. Operational unity means that we're focused more on our common ends and objectives than any differences that we may have revealed at some point in time. And that is what we're going to work on. For those that speak to that, when I have been asking for this help, when the state comes to me and says, we're coming to help you, it doesn't benefit for us to try to take jabs at each other, to try to fight in that moment. What we have to take advantage of is this opportunity to realize how we create a better system for our residents. Much like our preparations for the flood event itself, I heard from residents time and time again. We appreciate the fact that you've been present early and often. We appreciate the coordination that took place not only from city departments, from the county level, but to the state and above. And so that type of effort only benefits our residents, and that is what we're going to sustain. Okay.
Yes, sir. Could you just tell me your name and who you're with? Okay, thank you. No, that's fine. I'm just, I see a lot of these folks pretty regularly, and I don't see you regularly, so I just want to make sure I know. Obviously, there are challenges with infrastructure by cities in Mississippi and cities across the nation. That is true and it has been true for quite some time, and we'll certainly continue to see that. It's the reason that when the American Rescue Plan money came to our state, what we decided to do with that as a state is allocate approximately $750 million to match dollar for dollar any monies that were spent by the locals. And we have a process set up where we have a competitive process set up, and it is, I believe, gone live. I don't even know what today is, but I think it goes live on September 1. And once that occurs, the local jurisdictions in our state have the ability, cities, counties, but also rural water associations. We have in our state at least several hundred different organizations that are running local water systems, and we'll have $750 million in American Rescue Plan dollars that will go for a dollar-for-dollar match, such that we can put approximately $1.5 billion in additional spending into infrastructure in the state of Mississippi, and we think it's a priority, and it's something that we're going to do. That, by the way, has nothing to do with the next bill that was passed in the Congress, which was the infrastructure plan. So. Okay, Ross, one more question, then we're going to have to go. I'm going to let Mac address exactly what will and will not be eligible, so as to not get in a situation where I'm not 100% accurate. But what I will tell you is that for those small business owners in the city of Jackson, my heart breaks for where they find themselves. I know that they have tremendous challenges, and I'm hopeful that we can get this at least to a point where we can get clean drinking water. We can get the water pressure that is needed as quickly as humanly possible, so as to mitigate the long-term impact of what is clearly a very, very, very difficult time for them in the short term.
Through the governor's authority of mine, during any event, there's a partner that's not here today. They're working, but we've already made contact with them. That's Small Business Administration. They do things like during ice storms and others, and we had the response to the oil spill on the coast years ago. It's economic impact disaster loans. So the timing's not right just yet, but there is going to come a time where we'll ask them to apply. We'll give them the numbers, and we'll coordinate with Small Business Administration to get them to declare a local disaster for the state, the counties, and the impacting counties contiguous around them. So that is part of our process. We're not there yet, but that is something we're looking at, so we can help the businesses that have been here trying to do the things that they need to do to survive. They're employees. They're citizens that even live in Jackson and Mississippi. So we haven't forgot about them. We're on it, but that's just another phase that we'll get into as soon as we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Mac. I appreciate that response. I'm going to conclude by once again reminding everyone that this briefing today was primarily to focus on getting the help to those fellow Mississippians that are in need of help. Let me just give Mississippi Emergency Management Agency's call center number one more time to make sure everyone gets it accurate. 1-833-591-6362. 1-833-591-6362. I'm going to walk out this door right here and go say thank you to some of our men and women in uniform. General Bowles, if you think that'd be appropriate, anyone that would like to join us, we welcome you to do so as well. So thank you all for being here, and we'll be back in touch with you soon. Thanks.
All right, you heard that from Governor Tate Reeves, that live presser. We're going to return back to regular scheduled programming.